Hey everybody, how's it? What's going on? The record button's pushed and in the house. Audio only, but I do have his profile picture right here. This is RottenSoundGarden's Redeem session. Everybody say hi to RottenSoundGarden. RottenSoundGarden, say hi to everybody. And that's what I thought. I probably pressed the wrong button. Are you there now? Oh no! Oh, there he is. There he is. Okay, I got you. Okay, are you there now?
Yep, still here.
There we go. Okay, good. So everybody, we're doing a redeem session for Mr. RottenSoundGarden here, and I'm really excited about that. And so he's already sent his list. I'm really excited to do this. I have a really fun weekend going on. I've got RottenSoundGarden today. Tomorrow I'll be doing Skippy's Redeem. And then sometime in the middle of next week, hopefully, I will be handling Turnip's Redeem session. So then I'll be all tie goes to the runner. And I'll be clear. And we'll get back into donos and cheese. But we're just going to actually kind of get right into it now. So let me see here. I'm going to turn this down. And now we got to set this back up. Stand by. Okay, and now we're going to get on his page. So anyhow, yes. Did you guys notice his title here? Do you see this? What he's doing here? How RottenSoundGarden's already instigating some of the old manness. RottenSoundGarden, what is the reason for naming this like this?
No reason. No, I don't know what you're saying.
Oh. This guy.
I don't know if I can take the fifth in Australia, but I am.
Yeah, you can. I'm pretty sure that runs its course somehow. Well, anyhow, we have quite the list here. And so we're actually going to be starting with our first song here. It is Nina Simone. The name of the song is Baltimore. So tell us a little bit about this song and why it's on the playlist.
Well, trying to pick a playlist was very hard. I think I was like up to 3 hours before I realized I need to kind of be a bit more prudent with what I did. So basically I tried to cover as many genres as possible. I think growing up, basically listening to a lot of jazz, blues, souls from especially my dad. Mm-hmm. For some reason, I gravitate towards female vocalists. Bessie Smith, Ella Fitzgerald, Aretha Franklin, and of course Nina Simone. This song is kind of like maybe like a deep cut. It was written by Randy Newman in '77, and she re-recorded it in '78 from the self-titled album. Apparently the album didn't do well, but I do love the song because I think everybody knows all the classics, but this is kind of like one that kind of flies under the radar.
Well, then let's listen to it. Well, then this is our very first song from RottenSoundGarden's playlist, Redeem, for 140,000 channel points. This is Nina Simone, Baltimore. Let's go. All right. Oh, God, what a great way to open this up.
Up little cigar on a marble stand.
I love the tone of the recording.
Trying to find the ocean, looking everywhere. Hard times.
I love how those strings just kind of came back.
In a hard town by the sea. Ain't nowhere to run to. There ain't nothing here for free. Look on the corner, waiting for a train.
God, I love the muted wah guitar on this side. Pom, 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 pom.
Drunk, lying on the sidewalk, sleeping in the rain.
I love this.
Oh, Baltimore, ain't it hard just to live? Oh, Baltimore, ain't it hard?
I've never heard such beautiful strings in this style of music before. What a great sound of the bass, though. We all know I'm going to say that eventually. Check that off your bingo card.
Get my sister Sandy and my little brother Ray. Buy a big old wagon to haul us all away. Live out in the country where the mountains high. Never gonna come back here till the day I die. Oh, Baltimore, ain't it hard just to live? Oh, Baltimore, ain't it hard just to live? Just to live.
Rotten Soundgarden, do you remember what year this was?
78.
Oh, God, it is so buttery. Oh, God, give me that 1978 fade, too. Oh, God, what a beautiful way to open up the stream. Now, I got to be honest with you, because I am, and that's what usually gets me in trouble, is that I'm not familiar with her as an artist, but the tone of her voice and this kind of is this definitely has reggae vibes through and through, but is this her main genre?
She's basically jazz blues, that type of genre. This is kind of maybe like an outlier, I would say. But this song encapsulates all the different. It's got jazz, blues, bit of reggae, obviously strings. It's just and her voice is it's one of my favorite tracks from her.
Well, without a doubt, for me it was absolutely stunning because of the fact that, first of all, just hearing it mixed in the era of the 1970s, in my brain, that just takes me back nostalgically to, analog rooms and stuff like that, mic setups, et cetera, et cetera. Very intimate setting. So the drums, there wasn't any ambiance, much of anything on any of those tracks, not even her voice. So it was very close up and it was very in your face, or at least here. And also the strings to me were glorious. I don't know that I've ever heard strings like that in any reggae style, even though you say she's more jazz blues, and if this is an outlier, nonetheless, in the way this was produced, having those really beautiful pulling strings back there was wonderful. It opened me up going, oh, you could put strings in this? In a genre, and I guess anything is possible unless you try to stay away from the gatekeepers of a genre, but I fully love the song. And the bounciness of the bass, of course, that we count on, and the fact that the kick is on the 2 and the 4, that offset, kind of offsetting rhythm and stuff. And then the telltale sign of any kind of reggae genre for me is that muted which actually was a thing in the 70s through across a lot of other things like disco and stuff. But woof, what a great track, man. Thank you so much. Okay. So the next track, let me bring it up here. And whoops, I got to learn to be better about this. Here we go. The next track is, let me stop it. Oh my gosh. Drugs are bad. Quit giving me a hard time, computer. There we go. Oof. All right, tell me a little bit about this track coming in here. Tell me why this is on the list and what's the pull on this for you?
Again, I have to be creative. So, grew up, I think, again, influenced by parents. Love big band, love swing from the, early 20th century type of thing. This band, Roll Crown Revue, led the revival of neo swing in the 90s. So I kind of cheated and kind of selected a band that covered both neo swing but also harkens back to the old style swing. I could have picked any band like Black Cat, Zoo, Cherry Poppin' Daddies, but I went for Roll Crown Revue and Hey Pachuco. Again, big band swing. I love anything that has just a groove to it.
Well, I love the name already, Pachuco. You know what I'm saying? That Pachuco, that's a whole genre of culture within itself. You know, I think was it the Pachuco also had the zoot suits, or is that another?
Yeah, I think yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get some Pachuco rolling here in the house. Let's see what we got here. All right. Doink. Oh, here we go. I'm ready.
So I'm 43, the man's gunning for me, blue and white me walk tonight.
I think this is where Brian Seltzer pulls influence.
Cats coming down east side, tonight there's no place to hide. So I kick it.
Oh God, that bass is just frying.
Face no shame. Tonight, I die for our name.
Great change-up.
Well, when we hit downtown, we start to throw down. We end up doing time. Soon as we met up there out together, exhausted with that gang of mine.
Oh man, this is great. I don't think we've ever listened to music much at all like this on the stream. I mean, for me too. This reminds me of some of the music from some cartoons I watched in the late 60s and the 70s too. Whenever they would be zoot suiting out, like, the Big Bad Wolf or something, I don't know. Para get to that. I'm telling you, man, that bass player is the hero without the cape.
Hey, Pachuco! Hey!
Wow, back-to-back super sexy tracks, man. Well, of course, the first one was nice and smooth and kind of reggae, jazz, blues. This one, without a doubt, like you said, this big band, the Pachuco style. Of course, there. For me, I actually did hear this style of music on cartoons before I was exposed to it. A little. I'd say probably in my early teens. So for me to listen to this in my mind, I'm watching. The cartoons that it's recalling for me. But as far as the track's concerned, they really stay. I mean, if the structure of what this is really stays in kind of a very pleasant pattern, if you would. I hate to say simple pattern because, the basis of certain things might sound simple, but it's what the musicians do with it within the elements and stuff like that. First and foremost, when that bass is just holding down that that is everything that's keeping that energy pumping along with the drums. Obviously the drums is really going to be over the top with a lot of tom work. The engineering sounded fantastic. The horn blasts and the melodies were great. The guy's voice was fantastic. Even the little hey in the backgrounds, hey in the that whole thing just kind of brings your whole energy into it. I would have loved to have been born in an era like this, to go to a club, because this is like the standard big band kind of stuff. For my father, when he was a big band conductor in the 50s through the 60s, from New York all the way to Vegas and stuff like that, there was more Latin-esque works, salsas and all kinds of stuff. So it really none of my dad's work leaned into more of this cleaner Americana style, if that is. I hope nobody comes for me for that if I said that and it offends somebody in the sense that maybe it has other roots. But what a great track. And did you say that your parents like to listen to this at home?
Yeah. My dad was a videophile and audiophile, and so I grew up with jazz, blues, swing, big band, stuff like that, and I probably got ingrained with me. I just love the sounds to this day. So, as I said before, I think it's like the groove, the melody,
right?
But yeah, I still love it to this day. It's
great. It's intoxicating. I mean, but for me, it's intoxicating in like a it's motivational intoxication. Is that such a thing?
It is now.
It is now. Motivational intoxication. That's a new shirt of mine coming out, number 27. I never complete in doing. Okay, let's see what we got coming up next here. Next up, we have, is this you? The Art of Tortoise Play, Moments in Love?
The Art of Noise, Moments in Love.
Art of Noise, I'm sorry.
Close enough.
That's funny. So tell me about this. What's I'm dying here. Why is this on our playlist today?
With my playlist. Well, this came around in the 80s. So I think the 80s is for me like a kind of, I got into the new wave, neo-punk, new romantic, electronica stuff. At that time, like heavy music, whatever. It's kind of the era of the glam rock, that type of thing, which seriously doesn't interest me. But I was into a lot of electronica, so you had your, like Gary Newman,
yes,
Thomas Dolby, Howard Jones, Nick Kershaw, those types. And predominantly a lot of it's more like the British electronica. I didn't really hear a lot of American stuff in Australia, but tends to be this. So Art of Noise is basically a avant-garde synth group. One of the main people in that is Trevor Horn from Yes. And yeah, this track, I remember hearing it kind of in the 80s. I think this was released roughly, I think, about 84. And just, yeah, a track I still like to this day. If I hear it, close to the edit.
Sorry. Geez, I muted myself again. I was coughing and I muted myself. It would not be me, guys. Come on. What the hell? What I was saying was they had a major hit, as I recall. Because, I mean, I've heard of the Art of Noise, but I'm trying to remember. Do you remember the name of their hit, that one hit song they had?
Yeah, Close to the Edit.
Close to the Edit. That was the one. Okay, fine. All right. Well, for some reason, I know what happened. You could hear me, but they couldn't because I'm such a bobo. Okay, let's just shut up and play. I'm sorry, my bad.
Are we having a Stadler and Waldorf moment now?
Totally. All right, here we go. Hello? Hello? FaceTime. Oh my God. That delays reverb slap. Oh, that's like an old style Kurzweil orchestra hit. Da, da, da. God, this is so laid back and so chill, but I love it. And that is definitely an old Lindrum kick. Soundgarden, did this ever make radio play?
Yeah, it was also on rotation on TV in Australia.
I love the muted xylophone. I'm so chilling in this right now. I'm just kind of... Here we go. Another fade. You can always tell the era that we're in when it comes to fades. So yeah, there's, I understand when you were saying this was that era when the glam started coming in and, where's the alternative? And without a doubt, this, as far as as a genre that was opening up through the 80s, it's also a derivative of the new synthesizers and drum machines and stuff that were coming on board. I think I noticed the guy was playing a Prophet 5, in the video. I recognized the kick and the... and kind of that clap snare kind of sound from being in like an old Linn drum back in the day. But the pattern, that kind of laid back, I don't know what kind of pattern to call that as far as like it was just a 3-chord pattern. It did have a change up in the middle, but the whole essence to me of this whole track, outside of just watching the video, and I'm just trying to listen to the track as well, it's just to get you into a kind of a seductive place, just to kind of get you in there. I think Aman had said it was a perfect time to roll a spleef, if I said that right, or spliff, spliff. I don't know, something like that. It would be a perfect time to put that song after I pulled the nugget, But anyhow, and I also really did enjoy when the vibes came in, that ring or ring, ring, ring. It could have been vibes. Actually, it sounded like it was vibes that possibly were played as a module, but keys, But and also at the very beginning, also hearing that really old school style orchestral hit. When you told me that what's his name from Yes was in there, I went, now that's tying in on why that's in here. Except they probably EQ'd it differently and muted it or did some things to it. But super cool track, man. So, all right, let's see what we got coming else. What? Let's see what else we got coming. Shit.
Words are having an issue today.
Yeah, Jiminy Fralimini. All right, let's see what we got coming up here. The next one, I guess, what is this? Ultravox, The Thin Wall. Is that correct?
That is correct. Again, it kind of flows on with that electronic new wave 80s thing. The first album I ever got, well, no, I didn't buy, but was Man Machine by Kraftwerk in the late 70s.
Kraftwerk. I can't believe you said Kraftwerk. They were my all-time favorites. Go, man.
Yeah. I was fortunate enough actually to see Tangerine Dream a couple of months ago. That was great. So Ultravox, I think, was probably my first band I actually kind of became a fan of. This song, The Thin Wall, is off their second album, Rage in Eden, in 81. The first album was Vienna, and everyone knows the song Vienna because that was kind of played to death in the 80s. So, yeah, again, new wave band. Basically ran its course in the 80s and 90s. So for me, the first two albums are perfect. And again, just a kind of the spirit of the early 80s, just electronica, new wave, neo-punk type of thing.
And how were you, just briefly before we start this track, in this time in your life, how were you being exposed to music? This is the MTV era. So was it an MTV kind of way that you were getting your playlist, or?
Yeah. I mean, we didn't really have MTV. We, I think, as SB and as mentioned before, we have the ABC, which is the government public broadcaster. They have TV and radio stations. And basically the thing with them is, I mean, we have music programs on some other channels, but essentially it's predominantly ABC. And the thing with ABC is they will show genres and songs that are not commercial. So you they're basically the heavy metal and stuff, black metal, whatever it is, you'll see that on ABC, which, to be perfectly honest, if you have a commercial music TV show, it's basically top 40 hits or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So we had, ABC had a bunch of music shows and they covered all different styles. So that was the exposure. I don't recall a lot on radio. I was exposed to it, as I said, from my elder brother, my parents, but this type of music is stuff I saw on TV. And those were the days where basically if it wasn't on radio or TV, you weren't really
You were
exposed
never going to hear about
you
it.
know.
We're never exposed to it. All right,
Exactly.
well, that's great. I love that theater of the mind. I was like running that through my head, going, "Yeah, I get it. That was the industry stronghold, was the funneling of you either hear it here or hear it here. Or you're not going to hear it at all unless a friend of yours brings it over and goes, "Oh my
Yeah.
God, you're not going to believe this album I found." So, all right, so let's check this out. This is Ultravox, The Thin Wall. Here we go. I suck. Here we go. I'm trying to do my best.
The sound is on, the visions move, the image dance starts once again. They shuffle with a bovine grace and glide and syncopation. Just living lines from books we've read, with atmospheres of days gone by, with paper smiles, a screenplay calls, a message for the nation. And those who see will fade and die, and those who laugh will surely fall, and those who know will always feel their backs against the thin
Hearing a little Kaja Gugu in here, I think, as well. I'm listening to the production of that era. Just a smidge of Duran Duran.
Old men who speak of victory shed light upon their stolen life. They drive by night and act as if they're moved by unheard music. To step in time and play the part with velvet voices, smooth and bold. Their power games a game no
And just a little bit of Falco. You guys remember him? Rock Me Amadeus?
Those who laugh will surely fall, and those who know will always feel their backs against the thin wall.
Yeah, definitely the tuplets there are the Gallop for sure. I love when I listen to a track like this too. It's almost I feel like the guitar player saying, "Can you give me something to do?" So you can hear it here. Another smidge, a little bit of the Cars. Those little thuddy bass lines. God, love in the 80s because of the fades makes my life a lot easier. The thing with this kind of music and stuff that really puts me in that nostalgic electronica, early 80s sounds. This really took it home because it was very percussively muted, like the bass sounds and everything, very thud sounding like that. The guitar player, like I said, it felt like, he goes, hey guys, don't forget you got a guitar player here. And he did actually, what he added gave it some, very unique color. But that kind of, darker, distorted guitar sound. But something that was fairly indicative with a lot of that particular sound in the 80s, as far as I can recall, is there was always that melody that would have that note that rings out, like dun, 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 dun. That gave it just a little bit of the floatiness, And it was the very first time that this, for myself and my experience of listening to music, which I did so little, through the 80s, compared to a lot of other people, I did recognize that there was always some kind of, that also reminds me of a little bit of the melody of Head Over Heels, da 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 da. There was always some kind of melodic thing that was bouncing around there. So, and his voice too. His voice sounded like quite a few other people. I could see their faces and I could see their pompadour hairs in my head, but obviously I can't remember the name because I'm freaking old. So, how's about what's next? Tell us why Stevie Ray Vaughan is on the playlist.
I think everybody knows how good he is, but his talent as a guitarist. But what also I love is his voice. That it's kind of like, that silky smooth voice that's kind of aged in a molasses whiskey barrel type of thing.
I couldn't have said that better.
So everyone knows, again, this is from 83, from Texas Flood. Kind of, again, a track that's probably not as well known. Personally, I would have picked one of his longer tracks, but again, I had to kind of be smart about what I selected. So yeah, this is from 83 and a song called Mary Had a Little Lamb.
All right, guys, as we continue on RottenSoundGarden's 140,000 channel point redeem session. Let's listen to some Stevie Ray Vaughan. Mary Had a Little Lamb. Let's go. God, he sure filled a room with his guitar player. Now, if I recall, what I believe is really extraordinary about Stevie Ray Vaughan, too, is he plays with 12s. 12 gauge strings. Which, if you don't know, those are the thick strings. Heavy, yeah.
Mary had a little lamb. His knees was black as coal, yeah. Little tower went. You know the lamb was sure to go, yeah. He followed her to school.
He has like the Johnny Walker Blue voice here.
The teachers rule. Well, what a time to have. That day at school.
What a machine with soul. Jesus.
Pass me, baby. A green and yellow basket. A little letter to my baby. On my
Drummer got a little fast there. Jeez. Oh my gosh.
Thank you very much.
What an absolute master. You know, I just can only imagine, you know, he left such a body of work and such an impression on not, let alone the genre of blues and a little bit of the fused blues, other genres, but guitar players as a whole. Even if you weren't really down for, like, you know, blues playing, you could watch somebody like Stevie Ray Vaughan and just go, you know, and it's a hell of a lot more difficult than I thought. You know, I've tried to play blues, and there's one thing to stay inside of these, you know, certain pentatonic boxes and stuff as you're playing traditional blues and stuff. But the trick is saying the right things at the right time and letting it speak for itself. I don't know if that made sense, but, you know, sure, there's a lot of fast work that can go on in blues. We see it all the time with, you know, Bonamassa and Stevie definitely shreds and other blues players. But, and sometimes it seems like because they're using a pentatonic, and sometimes they might Dorian fiddle it a little bit. It is such... How do I say this? It is such a very unique recipe to make that thing taste the way you kind of explained it. In this case, you know, a real smoky whiskey. That's why when I said, what did I say? Johnny Walker Blue. I don't know if anybody's ever tried that. There's Johnny Walker Black and Red, but Blue is like, oh, it takes a complete minute. But yeah, that watching him, and also just the incredible, not only the technique is one thing, but just his dynamics in his performance. You know, he made that whole stage light up. The drums and the bass were just kind of, we'll follow you, man. You got this. We'll follow you. So that's my vibe on that, man. Thank you for bringing that in here. Okay, let's see who's next up. Oh, go ahead. Go.
I was gonna say the amount of, you can see on YouTube the amount of times he breaks those heavy gauge strings.
I know.
I don't know how much force he exhausts. Yeah. I was thinking of picking the video where he plays behind his back, but I think everybody's seen that one. So that's why I kind of.
But I think all of us has also seen that video where he actually breaks that string, and he keeps playing.
Yeah.
And then there is another one where another guitar tech does actually give him a guitar, and he just doesn't miss a beat.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, next up, what do we have here? We have a song called Textures from Millstone. Or is it the other way around? Is it the song?
Around.
The song is Textures, and it's by Millstone. Tell us about this.
Okay. The first job I had actually out of uni was working. I was working in the city, but around me were like 5 or 6 secondhand record stores. You know, things that are very sparse these days. So I used to go into this secondhand store, basically buy albums based on names of bands, how the album artwork looks, and that's essentially how my journey into different genres of music really started. It was just random stuff. So Textures is a band from the Netherlands, basically a progressive metalcore band. So Genty. This track is from their second album, Run 2006, and it's called Millstone. Again, I just started getting into, I was already into metal, but again, getting exposed to more styles of metal, like gent and mathcore and stuff like that. So this is one of the first bands I kind of got into around the early 2000s.
This is great. You're kind of putting us on this nice little nostalgic run with you, where you're starting off with, so far, seemingly some, tracks that are taking you from, what your parents used to like to hear, and your favorite track the young lady that opened up the session, all the way to now. We've kind of crossed over, getting just a little louder with Stevie Ray Vaughan. It looks like we're about to get just a little more louder. All right, guys. So
Strap yourselves in.
yes, okay, that's it. Anybody here who's been hanging out for the metal ride, he just said it. Strap yourselves in, guys. The song is called Textures, and the band is Millstone. Let's go.
The other way around.
Oh, Millstone Textures. Sorry, I suck. I'm old. Where's the emotes? Musically, it's definitely giving me the sugar vibes. Oh, this is a great section. Hey, this reminds me a little bit of Pulling Straws from Meshuggah. Uh-oh, who came first?
Meshuggah still.
Oh, Meshuggah, okay, good. Great ride work on the drums, man. Drummer's crushing right now. Bum bum ga, bum bum ga, bum bum ga. Damn. And you were right about strapping it in because the big rush that I got from that was a really, really big influence with Meshuggah. As you said Meshuggah is before these guys, yeah?
Yeah, long before, yeah.
Yeah,
Meshuggah
so
from memory's late 80s, yeah.
Yeah, there was definitely a lean in on there that I was recognizing in some of their patterns. It almost sounded like this particular one, if they were to stand on the shoulder of giants of what is Meshuggah, would have been from that track. I forgot.
Straws pulled at random.
Yes, thank you. Didn't you hear a little bit of that? Especially when they kind of glided out a little bit on the chords.
what sells the song for me is the 1 minute of just groove.
Yeah. Yeah, there was definitely some groove sickness there. I know that Almond had made a comment about it. And that's, and let me ask you, because I don't know, or maybe the Kados as well, is this isn't groove metal, right? This is gent. Am I correct? Where
It's
this
gent,
is,
but
okay.
but they all take jazz influence, and a lot of the drummers in gent and all, mathcore and stuff like that, but have a lot of jazz influence, if not jazz trained. So yeah, kind of all bleeds in.
Okay, that's where I'm getting that from. That was a kick-ass song. I don't know where we're going from here, so we're going to find out. Next up, okay, what is this? Dow Jones and the Temple of Doom. What is this? Burnt by the Sky. Tell me about this.
Burnt by the Sun is
sun. Sorry, glasses.
No, that's right. Is a kind of a metalcore, hardcore band. This is from their first album, Soundtrack to the Personal Revolution, and it's Dow Jones and the Temple of Doom, which is fairly appropriate. Basically, they're classified as post-hardcore extreme metal. Again, it's one of these, I start listening to one thing, then I find another genre and stuff like that. So it kind of encapsulates the particular early 2000s for me, where I was kind of listening to a lot of stuff from Roadrunner Records. Accessibility to music was a lot easier. The internet was up and running,
Right.
and for me personally, I could actually order music from overseas, which is something you could only do in the past if you went through like record stores. So I could actually order stuff that I want to listen rather than relying on record stores actually having them in stock
Right,
or
sure.
ordering them. So it exposed me to a lot more stuff that in the previous decades people didn't have access to. So yeah, so again, part of that development of like listening to new stuff, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's unique for me to think about it that way. I mean, I forget because I was not really a big purchaser of music, throughout my whole career, actually. I mean, it was either, if people gave me, back in the days when you used to release albums and cassette tapes, record companies would have, the first run, the producer demos and stuff like that. I might get a hands on stuff just by accident and stuff, but I never really listened, so I never went through that really super cool thing that a lot of you folks have done, which is looking for the unique records, going to the smaller record shops, or the one that might be way out there off the main, off the beaten track, that has these really unique albums coming in from unique places. I guess that's also based on the individual who owns the record shops that knows how to do that. But yeah, without a doubt, when the internet popped open, that definitely opened up Pandora's box. So all right, well then let's check this out for you. Burnt by the Sun, Dow Jones and the Temple of Doom. Let's go. Listen to the rippage on that guitar tone. God, I love to switch up in their cut time. God, those guitars are absolutely screaming. Was not expecting this. Oh, God, that drummer. Sounded like I heard a mute pop there. Oh, I love that fill. Da-ga-da-da-ga-da. Oh shit! That was more of a gut punching, visceral, gnarly metal track as far as the energy I caught from it, which was a little different than the one that we heard earlier. That was a little more, of a rhythmical joy because it had that Meshuggah vibe into it and everything. This one, a lot more gut punching, straightforward. The drummer was absolutely crushing through that. The tone of the guitars were fried ass. I guess that could be taken a few different ways, but just fried as hell. It's fried. It sounded like it was so overdriven and so sizzly at the top, which I guess also matched actually the tone of the voice. Of course, I couldn't hear it, but yeah, that was a ball buster of a track, man. That is just fried AF. There we go, Alman. Thank you very much. Fried AF is the best way to put it, but it was, and also, I appreciate the fact that a track like that can really get you to change your whole vibe within 2 minutes and 30 seconds, in the sense that it's just like it just gets it in there, and then it just sticks in there, and just for me, that was a grinder of a track. Jeez. Let's see what's next. What's next? What? It looks like Bruce Lee. This is, I guess the name of the band or the artist is Indian Handcuffs, and the song is Bruce Lee. Am I correct? And why is this on your playlist?
Okay. What I like to do on my request to you, I always like to pick bands that have little or no fanfare, like bands that I think deserve a kind of a wider audience. So Indian Handcrafts is a band from Canada, from Ontario, and they play basically stoner metal, sludge, that type of thing. Kais was the band I first heard into that type of style, but I'm a big fan of Indian Handcrafts. This is obviously a track called Bruce Lee from the album Civil Disobedience for Losers. And again,
what was it? Civil Disobedience
Civil Disobedience for Losers.
I love that.
2012. So again, a band in that genre, but instead of picking something like Kais or whatever, picking a band that again I love listening to, and I think other people should hear.
I love that. You're bringing us the obscure stuff. Well, that's what I love about what I've been experiencing with all of you folks coming in with the stream and everything, which is, you guys are really pulling these tracks out of, I say so far in all the redeems that I've done, there's been very little tracks where I go, I recognize. You guys are really finding these really deeper cuts in it. So, all right. Next up, Indian Handcrafts. No, I didn't say handcuffs. These guys said I said Indian Handcuffs. I don't know that. Maybe I did. We'll have to review that. Indian Handcrafts, Bruce Lee. Let's go.
No jobs as well.
Right. Yes. Yeah. minute as it sounds, man, I'm loving the hi-hat on this. That open hat sound. I really dig the layered vocals in this. Little callback there to Zeppelin. Super sludgy tone on the guitars, yeah. Wasn't me. I'm not doing it. There we go. Oh, he's got knockout blocks. That was a really fun video to watch for damn sure. Music-wise, though, yeah, you were right on when you were calling that kind of a stoner sludge kind of vibe with it, tone-wise with the guitars. As I'm still continuing to go down that genre, I'm really I really get involved when I'm listening to the fact that they use so little compression on the drums. It's just a unique thing that I listen to, how they when they're miking the drums for stoner or sludge, they're really just setting up the mics, and if they got kind of a light compression on them, they're not squeezing the shit out of them, and they're not trying to get them into fit in places, but they're allowing the sound to just evolve, the darkness and the heaviness of it, without, giving it some of that, compression pulse in it. The other thing I loved about this track were the layers of the voice, how the whole track had, whether it was doubling and a little bit of harmony to it, but, and of course, we're watching the video nostalgically. What was that called? Not the big, what was it?
Game of Death was the kind of the parody.
Yeah, Game of Death.
Movie.
Yeah. So, the stoner sludge thing really hit me in the face super hard. So that was my take on that. Let's see what else we got coming up here. Next up, Red Sparowes, Giving Birth to Imagination. Is that it?
Giving Birth to
Imagine Saviors. I'm sorry. So tell us about this one.
Red Sparowes is a post-metal, post-rock band. It was a side project from two guys from a band you're very familiar with, ISIS.
Oh, yeah.
And they had basically a revolving lineup. This particular track this video actually is kind of on the later lineups, and the woman at the front, if people know, is Emma Ruth Rundell, is very famous in the rock metal area. Again, Red Sparrowes is an underrated band. Love their stuff, and again, they deserve a lot more love.
Well, you're bringing it to us, so they're definitely going to get some more love. So here we go as we continue on their journey for Rotten Soundgarden's Redeem. Next up is Red Sparrowes, Giving Birth to Imagined Saviors. All right. I thought it was the bass doing that, but now I know for sure. God, I really dig this. I don't know if it's me, but in my mind I'm thinking this has adjacent shoegaze to it. But I do love what the bass is doing through this. Because all the guitar work is kind of soapy. So the bass is really kind of giving us a secondary melodic run with it. Look at the bass. I'm loving this for so many reasons, but I can't help how wonderful the bass arrangement is. And I mean, even though this sounds like it's off of a live console, I love what the drummer's pattern was there. And he's still keeping it up, and now he's just banging the smash out of the cymbals. I get funky way to end it. This, to me, the whole vibe of it, I had no idea that, or maybe you guys have told me a few times and I forget because I'm old and you guys know that, but RottenSoundGarden, I guess that a basis for this, the post-hardcore, I guess I heard a couple people say that there was this shoegaze that's involved in it, and I'm still like, the shoegaze sludge stoner combination, there seems to be, these gray middle areas that they all kind of convolute and talk and work with each other. But I'm becoming such a fan of actually the stoner sludge shoegaze post-hardcore kind of sound, which to me is really enlightening, because generally I'm a fireworks kind of guy when it comes to rhythm and riffs and stuff like that. But every time you guys bring me this style of music, I get really like pulled into the beauty of it and the freedom of it. I think the best way for me to say what I listen to when I listen to those genres, or how they may meld together, is that there's a lot of freedom in their arrangements. There's, I don't know if it has to do with the dynamics of how they perform, getting into their next note. You can tell it's a slide up from another one. A lot of guitar glissando-ish kind of stuff. But, this tone for me is very, very heady and very enlightening for me. And I so dig that.
With these types of albums, you just put them on and you sit on your couch and just close your eyes. That's the easiest way.
That's the best way to say it. I mean, it's either this style of music, or the combo of genres that I was telling you back, or the completely opposite. If I'm listening to just really on purpose, I'm listening to just some of my own weird spacey ethereal ambient stuff. It's just really warbly pads and stuff. But they have something in common, which is unique. All the stuff that I put up on the Sounds of Tranquility channel, my little dumping ground for things that I do that are ethereal. There's a connectivity to it, except just two different kinds of tones. A lot of the stuff that I do on that meditative side on that track are just pads and moving stuff, but they're long, they're ethereal, they're washy. This is just the metal version of it, and so for me, it's the best of both worlds. So, that's why I think I'm enjoying this journey of you guys bringing me this genre in. Let's see. who do we got next? We have Conduit. Tell us a little bit about this next track coming up.
Okay, the band is Russian Circles with the song Conduit.
Oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't see the title. I'm sorry. That's
all right. So, bit of a backstory. I saw ISIS in concert, and their support band was a band called These Arms Are Snakes. Now, the bass player on that is Brian Cook, and Brian Cook also is the bass player for Botch. Now, when These Arms Are Snakes broke up, he joined Russian Circles, and that's how I got into Russian Circles. Again, more shoegaze, post-metal, post-rock music, because around the 2000s, I started getting open to a bunch of different genres and stuff, and post-metal shoegaze is one of my favorite genres.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely growing huge on me. And now, really quick, why do I think somewhere in the conversation that I hear Russian Circles in the same conversation as Tool? Or is that something that I may have maybe misinterpreting in my memory? But are they kind of like in the same listening package of individuals, perhaps?
They're more like with Pelican, ISIS, in that style. It's basically instrumental. It's kind of fairly similar to what you just listened to, but yeah, they don't have that Toolish vibe. They did not their last album, but their previous album. They did have some vocals from Chelsea Wolfe, but they generally try to basically stay in that instrumental area.
Okay, obviously I'm just being old. Wait, here comes all the emotes. Alrighty, so. Next up from our wonderful Redeem session here for RottenSoundGarden is the band Russian Circles, and the name of the track is Conduit. Let's go. I like the bendies. I love that plate reverb on the snare. Sounds like it's like C dropped into C. Oh, I like what the kick's doing right there. Ooh, that guitar tone right there. Real nasally. Wow, listen to the bass. He's banging that thing right now. SB coming in hot. All right, there we go, that comment. But it's got a nice heavy layer of dread. Once again, you got to tip the hat off really big for the fact that that's an instrumental, and that just allows us to rinse into a really just heavy groove. And actually, you know, the groove for me was really, the emphasis of it was the fact that it was in a different key. I think it was a drop C. I'm not too sure. So when you get down there, everything gets really slammy and ugly and ballsy, and just especially the darkness and the heaviness of it. It's still, once again, for some reason, it's still kind of, if it's pulling a little bit from that genty angle a little bit, that definitely, there's sometimes where I'm hearing that, you know, sometimes that's where I'm getting I get a little confused if that, you know, with the gent sound or the metalcore thing, because that's just always gets me all. But I love the tone in which, I don't know, I'm on, what was it? Do you know what key that was by chance? Even though it's a little past late, I'll play a Scotia of it for a second. Let's guess the key. I'm saying C. What do you say? Is what I say. So, yeah, how's it? Yeah, exactly. How's the tip jar filling up? Anyhow, so that's what I loved about it. And the fact that it was instrumental, like you said, there's something to be said sometimes. Well, I swear, sometimes I get fidgety as a composer. There's times where I write tracks where I go, this track just works as it is. But then in my brain, I'm going, no, but it needs a melody. It needs something like that. Sometimes some of the best shit just pounds out, just like this album or this track did. So thank you so much. Was it A sharp? Wow. I was way off. Okay. All right, let's see what's up next. Blah, 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 blah. Uh-oh. Let me see. What do we have here next is Fall of Fate. Now, is that the name of the band, or is Red Harvest the name of the band?
Red Harvest is the band. The song is called Fall of Fate. This is Act 3, so strap in, part 2. Oh. So this Red Harvest, again, getting into kind of heavier sounds. So Red Harvest is a Norwegian industrial band from Oslo. They've been around since basically 89. Originally started off as a Slayer tribute band, but then evolved into doing industrial. So again, along the lines of Rammstein, Ministry, Revolting Cocks, that type of thing. And another band I discovered at a secondhand record store, like the name, like the artwork, ended up liking the album.
All right. Well, you know, if RottenSoundGarden says strap it in there one more time, like a second time here, you know we're going deep and heavy on this. So are you guys ready? God, all of that sounds just so wrong. I'm pressing the go button. All right, here we go. But I do love the cover of the album. Yeah, that's what it was, that analog fuzzy. Oh my God, listen to the balls hanging low on the bass. This is badass. God, that is such a crazy distorted bass sound. There's something going on in the back. That's an overdub, but there's something way high and way in the back, and I can't pin it. I doubt it's a keyboard, but... Ooh, slick on the cymbals with that. Let's see if he does it again. Oh. Why is it that when tracks like this go into cut time, the headbanging gets emphasized? Oh, you're right, Soundgarden. They did open up with synth sound too. Oh yeah, you're right, Soundgarden. There it is again. Kind of that lava analog sound. Track was metal AF. It kind of reminded me of kicking a hardcore hornet's nest. You know, a lot of the heaviness that was going on in there. And I forgot about that. That was a good call. I'm glad you saved me on that one, because I forgot that it did open up with a really dark, gnarly, singed out kind of synth tone. So it was part of the production in the first place. But then once the band, or, you know, the heaviness came through, they really tucked that and sunk it way back in there. But there was that one note in the back. I'm like going, what is that back there? Could that be an overdub? And it was that kind of grinded out synth sound that you were talking about. This guy's voice, the vocal performance on this, you could feel, for me, because I've gotten kind of a little better handle, dare I say that, in the sense of like when I listen to vocal performances that are the darker, the growling or the pig squeal, whatever it is that they call it now, the fried vocals. That now, because I've listened to so much of it because of these last 5 years, I can really feel who's pulling from what area. So in other words, like this particular vocalist was really coming from all right here, like all from here, all from down here, and just gutting it. Just literally, it sounded like the track was being gutted. Whereas you'll find from my journey so far, there's vocalists that can do that growly, fried, ripped vocals, and it still has the power, but you could tell where it's maybe a little bit more coming from a technique. It's all a technique, but maybe coming a little more from a unique technique from here. It doesn't take away too. It doesn't. What it does for me is it just changes the kind of energy that I'm feeling. So that was kind of my vibe from the track. Let me see what else we got going up next. Okay, let's see. Next up, we have. All right, you're gonna have to help me on this again. I don't know if this is the band name, but Rens from Really Fast Volume 9. What is this about?
Okay. The name of the band is Nasum, and the song is called Rens. So Nasum was a Swedish grindcore band formed in the early 90s. So this band has kind of a tragic ending. Basically, I don't know if you're familiar. I know people in the Southern Hemisphere will be aware of the Boxing Day tsunami in 2004.
Oh, yeah, that was tremendously huge. Yeah, I mean, the only reason why I know so much about it is because surfing in that area and surfing. Yes, of course. Yes, that was a horrible tsunami. It was like a couple 100,000 people died in that.
Yeah, about 250,000 people perished.
Yeah.
Yes. So this band formed, but the lead, it's essentially a two-man band. But the lead singer and the co-founder was one of those people that perished. His body went missing for about a week, and it eventually got washed up. His girlfriend was severely injured, but she survived. So the remaining members disbanded the band after that particular event. So this song, the grand finale from the album is basically it's like a compilation album of demos and stuff. And while I joke about grindcore, basically it's a 2 CD final album and 165 tracks. And that's a grindcore joke, but it's actually 165 tracks.
Okay.
So this one is called Rens. And Jeebs, I'll need your help on this one because I want you to give your feedback on the structure of the song. So,
all right,
please do.
Now that I'm on a mission, let's go. All right, here we go.
No, that was a song.
Oh, that was it?
Yeah, 4 seconds.
You rickrolled me, man. I was getting ready to go, this is going to be deep. This is going to be heavy. Okay, wait a second. I got to listen to the track again. Hang on. I was wondering why you were leading me down that path. It's like I was going to get all straightened out and stuff. What do you hang out with 1 a.m.? Oh, my gosh.
Maybe.
That's hilarious. Did you guys... You guys got together.
Actually,
go ahead.
Yeah. I was going to say, well, the actual world record, I don't know if it's still there, is by Napalm Death for the shortest track, and that's 1.5 seconds. Basically, there's a story that Nasum had a friendly competition with Napalm Death, and this is one of their short tracks. So, yeah.
Oh, my God.
I thought you might enjoy it.
Look at you. You got that Rickroll thing in you. It's very, not obvious in the tone of your voice and the kind of music you're thinking. You go again and give me the people's elbow. Join that club. You got me, bro. Okay, so then the next song is...
Yes, this is a actual song by Nasum. It's called No Signs of Improvement. 1998 from memory. And basically a band I got into, again, buying an album, like the cover, and was one of my first grindcore bands I got into. Love the band. Please enjoy, or don't.
I'm in a great mood now that I got rickrolled by it, so let's go. All right. SB, I guarantee SB is flying out of her chair right now. Oh. That is the darkiest ripped chainsaw guitar sounds I've ever heard. Another super long track from RottenSoundGarden. Now, but this probably had the most. The second I started hearing this guitar, the first thing I started thinking of was Mick Gordon, you know, the composer for the Doom games. Not because of that particular genre, but those guitars. It sounds like chainsaws, just ripping and gashing just through everything, just the way the tones were and everything. This was how long ago was this released, though?
98.
98. Okay, I was just listening to it engineer-wise. It's like, it sounds like it's got a little age to it. And what was this genre that you said this was really all about?
Grindcore.
Grindcore. Okay, isn't there something called grind EDM or something like that? I don't know. I'm maybe more likely asking the gang too. But do you know is grindcore the only grind / genre?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, because for some reason I was thinking when you said grindcore for the minute, I was like going, oh, this must be some kind of EDM thing. I'm forgetting. I'm just getting old, RottenSoundGarden. You know how it is for me.
Well, the term grindcore is actually coined by Shane Embry from Napalm Death. It was kind of a joke name because it was basically in reference to the core sounds like, you know, your hardcore and stuff like that. And they were just trying to describe their type of music. But again, like gent, it kind of stuck for a while. So
yeah, I'd like to be a fly on the wall on how the word gent came up. I mean, do you have an idea by chance of what the?
I believe again it was a joke term from, I can't remember. It could have been from Meshuggah, and it unfortunately I think it took a life of.
It just stuck, ladies and gentlemen. Meshuggah. Okay, I'm sorry, that's stupid. All right, here comes everybody in the chats. They're going to hit me. All right, next up. Nothingness. Okay, so tell me about what we're about to hear. I can just tell you right now, just by looking at the thumbnail and the actual font, we're still in for some headbanging music, is what it seems to be. But you tell me.
Okay, so this is, again, a story. The name of the band is Rotten Sound. So I like a pun, so hence my Twitter handle.
I just put it together.
Rotten Sound, so it's RottenSoundGarden. So this band is a Finnish grindcore band. Now that tied into Nasum. Nasum basically championed this band for a long time. after the events of Boxing Day Tsunami, they did a final tour in 2012. Luckily, I saw them. And the vocalist from Rotten Sound took the singing duties for the singer who had died. So they did a world tour basically to close off Nasum's legacy. Another band got into via another band, Nasum. So this is Rotten Sound with Nothingness. Again, this is from an album from 2023.
What an extraordinary story. So what you're saying is that after the lead singer had passed away in the tsunami, this particular singer steps in to finish that tour. Is that what I understand?
Well, there wasn't a tour at the time. They cancelled it, but what happened was the existing members of Nasum essentially wanted to close that chapter of the band, so they actually did so he passed in obviously 2004. The tour happened in 2012. So they basically wanted to, like, as a memorial to Mirsko, but also as a kind of a dedication to the fans and stuff like that, to thank them for their support. So Rotten Sound was the support for the tour, and then when and as I said, the vocalist also did the singing duties for Nasum on that tour as well.
How cool! Oh, okay, nice collab there. All right, so let's check this out. Let's go. Nothingness by Rotten Sound. Oh, that blast beat. Wait, that's it? Oh. Rotten Soundgarden, finding these really long tracks for me. Geez, that was just mind-numbing. I mean, it set me back. It threw me back into my chair a little bit because it came in very like, where are we going with this? How's this coming in? And they just came in with the people's elbow there, and they just leaned on my Adam's apple all the way through. Like, I felt like I was gasping for air. That drummer, though, that was some smoke in the city as far as I was concerned. And then, I mean, everybody shredded it. I mean, not shredded, tore ass in it, but just, and the vocalist was crushed, but that drummer and that blast beat was just insane. Okay, now I tie it all together. Okay, gotcha. Jeez, I like that. It's funny how each one of you guys, when on your streams, you have these very unique little moments in here that catch me off guard, like these short little songs and stuff for the 1 a.m.ness of it. I'm going to call it, I think. Let's see. Next up. So tell me a little bit about Fear and Wonder.
Okay, so we're moving into black metal. So the band is, I think you've actually done this on your stream, not your streams, but on your YouTube a long time ago, Dimmu Borgir.
Yes, I recognize that, yeah.
Yeah. So this is a track, Fear and Wonder, from 2001. Now, a band I got into kind of early 2000s. The first album I think I bought was Death Cult Armageddon. And strangely enough, I think the year after was the Hellboy movie. And the trailers actually had a couple of tracks from that. So it was kind of all over the place. This particular track is actually a purely instrumental track. It's their only instrumental track as far as I know. I just love the strings in this. It's all electronic. However, they do play with, as I think you know, they play with orchestras, and they do a live version of this. So, yeah, this is just purely an instrumental.
And I'm definitely looking forward to it. I have listened to a bit of their music now, but I've probably gotten their name 1,000 times wrong. How do you say it?
Dimmu Borgir. It's basically, I think, a mountain in Iceland, like a mountain range
Oh, okay.
in Iceland.
Dimmu Borgir. Okay, let's do this. This is Fear and Wonder from Dimmu Borgir. I think I got that right. All right, let's go. Already feeling Dark Mystic cinematic. Wow, this is great. Nice move there. This is very cinematic. I love the light choir pad in the back. There it is. I was waiting for the reach. What a absolute beautiful track that was. Skipped right into the next track, but what an incredibly beautiful track that was. Now, the fact that it skipped like that, like it must have led into something else. Did that track lead into another?
Yeah, that's the opening track, so it leads into the second track. It just bleeds in, basically, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that without a doubt was very prologue, you know, opening music. But very cinematic, though. I mean, the imagery that it was painting in my head started off from being maybe a mystic rainforest, you know, light rain kind of vibe, but just kind of making yourself through and stuff, and it just kind of grew through it. And what's, I guess, as you mentioned too, was this the only instrumental on that album?
It's the only instrumental I know they've done in their discography, actually.
Well, that goes. Well, then I'll probably hedge a bet that that's like a lot of the whoever did that arrangement is a lot of hidden secret sauce of, you know, of composition and arrangements just hiding behind under the covers of a lot of things that we listen to. So in other words, it happens to me all the time while listening to music with you guys, with yourself and the Kados, is when out of nowhere in the middle of a track they'll break into a subgenre that you just sit there and you go, these guys are jazz masters. And then they get back and they pull back out of it. They go, pull up, and then it's back to, you know what I'm saying? It's just that other side of arranging and composing of musicians in our favorite bands that we don't know exist. So that was beautiful. That was so cinematic. Oof, that was such a sweet track. Okay, what are we doing next? This one. Oh, right. Okay, I'm going to get this right. Gaahls Wyrd, Ghost Invited. So tell me a little bit about it.
Okay, so Gahl was the vocalist for a Norwegian black metal band called Gorgoroth. Now, this is his project when the band disbanded. Now, Gahl's a very interesting character. He's actually an openly gay man in a black metal scene. So you can imagine how that travels in some circles.
Sure.
But again, the reason I selected this track is I think people have I think the public may have a concept of what black metal sounds like. And I think I've tried to demonstrate with stuff I've done in the past that it's a fairly big place. There are different tones, different styles. So, so this one I'd probably focus on his vocals. But again, it's a black metal track, but again, it's, not what people would probably expect to sound black metal, I guess.
I'm going to take a lean on it. It's probably going to be fairly theatrical. But then I'll find out in a second.
Yeah,
I don't know why I got that in my head, but
no, I think that's a good guess.
Theatrical black metal, But let's take a listen. Let's do this, Kados and everybody. Let's go. I'm going to start it from the beginning. There we go. That was a trick Amen taught me. Press 0. He's the singer, but does he play any of the other instruments?
No, he's just a singer as far as I know.
Added that last chord.
Out there in the distance, faces the light, and the growing mountain through clouds, harvesting hope and dreams. A gray shade appeared. Disbelief.
Wow. That is so unique, but it works so well. Kind of reminds me of that other vocalist. I think he passed away, but he had that very dark, deep voice. No, not wrong, Steve.
Typo negative?
Yes, typo negative. Perfect. That's what I'm thinking about. Trying to hear if those voices in the background there, if they're growled out a little bit or... Ooh, great octave. unison there. Way down bass. Nice. Somebody slip in a fourth there. That was a great track. I was not, especially the very first, I'm going to say 16 bars of his voice was so mellow, but it definitely fit. That's the uniqueness about it. You know, the music is going on. I'm like, what am I going to be anticipating his vocals? Something salty, punchy, growled out and stuff. And he comes in with this vocal tone that really, truly makes sense in the art form of what I'm understanding. That I don't know if Espy had said earlier that black metal has tendency to be theatrical. It is a theatrical genre, I believe, with stage presence and the videos and so on and so forth. But it so worked for me in my head where I was like, I'm hearing his voice, which is a completely different dynamic in tone, in power, if you would, even though it's deep and it's low compared to the music. But it made sense. Like it was this like, I almost said sassy Dracula. But just this giant. Well, I'm just saying. You see, it was kind of that.
I see that.
You know what I'm saying? It was like you already kind of put it in my head that, of his preference. I was like, okay, I see this. Like he is the, all omnipotent dark power, Dracula, but maybe his lipstick is pink. I don't know. But it just was beautiful, the tone of his voice. And then the last half of the track, there was a complete octave in what was being sung below, like in that Typo Negative. What was the name of that singer's name from Typo Negative?
Pete Steele.
Sorry, say that again?
Pete Steele.
Pete Steele, okay. It had that really dark resonance down at the bottom, and I found that great. But it is, and also they were messing around with our heads again, in this wonderful genre here, bringing in some very unique, like, they just threw in a major fourth in there, which is like, a nice suspended note where it's like very, like, nothing that I would definitely have expected, how they slipped that in there. So that was a great track. I really like that. It really took my head out somewhere. All right, guys, we have one more track left here from RottenSoundGarden's Redeem session of 140K. Before we get to it, I do want to thank everybody. I'm not just going to end it after this, but I just wanted to just remind everybody. First of all, thank you for coming out and listening to RottenSoundGarden's Redeem with me. We do have one more track, like I said. But what I do want to say is this week, just to remind some people, I saw some donos come through that this week and into the middle of next week, I'm going to do everything I can. I got Skippy's Redeem tomorrow. And then I'm going to reach out on Monday for sometimes toward the middle of next week or end of next week for Turnip. And then I'll be all caught up. And then I'll dive right back and get us in, off the form. Unless I just have, like, I get off early one day and all of a sudden I just pop in. But, I do have it to do that. So anyhow, let's continue on. This is RottenSoundGarden's last track in this great Redeem session that we've had here. Tell us a little bit about this next track called Soar, Braun. So I don't know which, I guess Braun must be the name of the band.
No, the one should be Fantômas.
Oh, wait.
Is the last track.
Is it? What am I looking at here? What? Oh, there's one more after this. Okay, sorry. Drugs are bad. I see. Sorry, my bad. Okay, there is one more after this. So, but this one is, what's the name of this band? Is it Braun?
I'm not sure which.
I'm looking at a track called Soar. I don't know why. Maybe there was, okay, hang on for a second. Let me double check because
Yeah. The last track is Fantômas.
Fantômas, huh? Let me see something here. No, that's bizarre. Okay, give me a second here. Or better yet, why don't you tell me? I'll just type it in the search.
Okay. I'll drop the link. Yeah. So basically, this is Fantômas, and the song is 040205 Saturday. It's from an album called Suspended Animation. So
Let's see if it'll show up here on the search. Probably not. Go ahead and drop it in Discord.
yeah, no worries. Just give me a minute. Talk
Yeah.
amongst yourselves.
Yeah, we're talking amongst ourselves. Oh, you did send me the link. Wait a minute. 1 a.m. sent me the link. Stand by. Here it is. Oh, he
Yeah,
did.
I think 1 a.m. said there was a region issue with the link or
Yes,
something.
that's what it was. See, he is so far ahead of the game. I love the okay, I got it. Here we go.
Funny, you stop fighting with Patty. Yeah. So
Oh,
yeah, Fantômas
shit.
is another project from Mike Patton. This album is called Suspended Animation. Basically, it's one track for every day in April 2005.
Oh, okay.
Fantômas is basically like it's an avant-garde metal group, kind of along the lines of Mr. Bungle. So this album combines metal and one of my favorites, cartoon sounds.
I'm down for that. All right, guys, let's do this. All right. Yeah, this right here definitely has some 60s detective, cartoon music. That last bit fully reminded me of when Donald Duck would play the trumpet. Jeez, that was a hell of a track to end up with. What was the thinking behind that one? I mean, where did you pull this from? Where were you in your soundtrack of life when this came across your desk?
I think it's just that complete Mike Patton thing. Faith No More, Dillinger Escape Plan, and Tomahawk, all his little projects, and Fantômas. I was a fan of Mr. Bungle as well, and when Fantômas came out, they've the first album they actually did called it was not the first, the second one was basically a work on classic movie scores, where they actually reinterpreted movie scores like Sergio Leone and stuff like that. But Suspended Animation is probably my favorite album from this. It's basically combining Looney Tunes' Merry Melodies and
The Merry
a metal
Melodies,
sound.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's completely bonkers.
Yeah, the Merry Melodies was. I want to say was Merry Melodies Carl Stalling.
Yeah, Carl Stalling. Yeah, Warner Brothers. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God! And the world of composition in those days with cartoons was absolutely mind-numbing, man. Just every blink of an eye, every fling of something had some kind of representation in the in the arrangements and compositions.
Merry Melodies and Looney Tunes. I think we've talked this about a long time ago. It's part of I think a lot of people's musical education, orchestra and jazz, swing, all that type of stuff. It was prominent in those cartoons, and so I think that's another contribution to my musical landscape. And yeah, so this is like kind of like noise, the noisecore type of genre, but again, it's kind of that weird stuff I listen to as well.
But you're right, it is that Bungle, Mr. Bungle, Claypool vibe.
Yeah,
without a doubt. But you're right about that. The fact of the matter is that a lot of us, who grew up around Merry Melodies, the Looney Tune days, that being kind of this odd, without us knowing, baseline setting education in music, and not recognizing because we're watching cartoons that we're hearing incredible orchestrations and arrangements, and then transitioning that, or at the same time, with contemporary music at the time, or contemporary, when I say pop, I'm more popular, not pop as in Candyland, but, we're listening to Looney Tunes, okay, and getting that as a baseline, but then everything from Pink Floyd to Zeppelin to all the different things that we're listening to, kind of like that merging of these two unique parts of the soundtrack of our life, I think gives us that kind of that, how do I say this 31 flavors of music experience in our youth, kind of thing. I don't know if that made much sense, but
the funny thing is like the Disney's music never did anything for me, but the Warner Brothers stuff, like whether it's like the Barber of Seville or even the three little pigs with the big bad wolf, that one, which I think you were alluding to earlier with Simone. I think that might have been the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I just love the music in that. But yeah, Disney never had the same effect on me.
Yeah. No, I was never really, as far as I'm concerned, Disney music never really made impacts on me unless, if I'm watching some of the movies with the kids when they were younger and stuff like that. And, they wrote, actually, for me, Disney stronghold in the music world, especially coming off of soundtracks, were the actual songs, which was nice. But none of the arrangement work in the background really affected me anywhere near or excited me anywhere near as much as like Looney Tunes or Merry Melodies composition, back in the day, so. Well, everybody, believe it or not, we have finished 140,000 point redeem with RottenSoundGarden. Sitting here, you and I, he and I, he's in Australia, I'm in Hawaii. At least we're a lot closer together than I think he, with a lot of other people who might be in Europe and in the United States. But thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for hanging out here long enough to pull that 140.
No, it's been a pleasure. The funny thing is, I think with everybody who's trying to do these 140 redeems is trying to pin their life into 60 minutes. And I'll have to do another 140 redeem at some point. There's so many genres I've had to kind of leave out. My weird obsession with Japanese artists kind of completely had to keep aside maybe for another date.
Well,
I'd like to thank everybody for coming around.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, God willing, I'll still be here for people to earn another 140,000 channel points. Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's the other thing too. I know that a lot of folks that are coming here and hanging out have really super enriched, soundtracks of life. So how do you choose 1 hour worth and all that? But so far, each and every one of you, in your really super unique ways, have come to bat with the redeem in ways I wouldn't have ever thought. And then, of course, the last one that we did, oh my God, Parker Powell. boy, did he make a thing out of it at the very end. I don't know if you saw what he did at the very end, but
Yeah.
I mean,
I thought about doing that, but I realized I'm just lazy.
I don't know. That was a hell of a lot of work, man. That guy, I just sat there and said, bruh, what did you, I guess you probably could have put that, let me see, you could have put that in ChatGTP and said, get me my playlist with starts like this, it has to be like this and all that. But no, it came purely out of his, process here, and that was just what made it beautiful. But anyhow, okay.
I was just going to say, if anybody didn't like the playlist, please write to your local Australian embassy. If you have enough complaints, I might get deported. So thank you. But yeah, thanks everybody for coming, and thanks Jeeps for always putting on your streams.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's wonderful. That's funny how you let it go. Call up your Australian embassy anywhere and file your complaint. I am going to take his playlist, and we're going to put it. I'll put it out over the main announcement in about an hour. So if you guys want to hang on to his playlist, you liked anything and didn't get a chance to save it to your playlist, that's going to pop up. RottenSoundGarden, stay with me for a second. To everybody else on the stream, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm coming back tomorrow because I am going to be doing a